Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Hangout. This is your special literal breakfast club edition of the Hangout. I'm your host, the mom who reads comics at Charming Red on Twitter. And joining me this fabulous morning is the lovely Karen D.
Hello.
And the coffee drinking Allison, the gentle nerd.
Hello, it's actually Earl Grey. Why did I
Nice.
open that window? That did not help, did it?
No. Made it significantly worse.
All right, well, forget it. I'll just be mysterious and in shadow.
Are you on your laptop?
I am.
You can always turn so that you are facing the window.
Oh, yeah, good call. And I've got it on the ottoman. Me.
That's
There
better.
we go.
There we go. All the light.
It's like kind of like an awkward thing. I feel like I'm now just like casually listening into your conversation from the edge of the bar.
I love your shirt, by the way. Your PJs.
Aren't they cute? They are from Target, and they are covered in dick spraying panels.
I love it.
And it's like Racerback in the back. I also got an Avengers pair and a Wonder Woman pair.
At Target? I might be copying you.
I love how Allison just shows up in actual pajamas.
I rolled out of bed about 25 minutes ago, so I woke up like this.
Okay. While I'm chewing. The first topic of discussion today is going to be Catwoman. Because Karen's absolute, all-time favorite character was in Catwoman this past week.
Yes, and I'm not a fan of Catwoman, I have to say. The whole, mob boss thing doesn't do it for me.
Really?
Really. I know. I feel like I'm the only one. Everybody loves it.
Do you like it better than, sexualized boob hanging out, doing the same thing over and over again, Catwoman?
Banging Batman on rooftops, Catwoman?
Well, that I'm fine with. It's like the you know how I am about cheesecake. I'm okay with it. But as long as Catwoman is still intelligent and using her sexuality to her advantage, I kind of like that. This whole mob boss thing, I don't know. I don't buy into it. I don't know why. And it's not like I want her boobs hanging out all the time and her just going around making out with people, but I liked her more as this, thief, criminal, looking out for, the people who can't take care of themselves and stuff like that. This mob boss where she's being really powerful and controlling, and I don't know.
Is it because she's theoretically helping out or working with people of privilege is the part that bothers you then?
Yeah, it's just not as interesting to me. It's like,
okay.
You're like the head of
so do you think that this issue set up, since you haven't been reading it, I'm curious now, because I had an opinion while reading, do you think this issue then set it up well for her family member to take over from her? It was her way of slowly easing back or trying to step back out of it.
Yeah, because from what I've heard, I didn't read the first arc of this new, team, but I guess you didn't really see Catwoman on rooftops or anything previously. So now that she's doing that, it was kind of like a good mix between her being the mob boss and still being Catwoman. So yeah, I mean, that was a lot better than before, but I don't know, it was like I was reading all the parts where she was being the mob boss, and I was like, this is boring.
Do you not like that particular genre generally, mafia fiction and things like that?
You know what? I think I don't.
Because did you ever read Huntress, Cry for Blood?
No, I don't think I would be interested in that. I never thought about that. I don't think I like the whole mob boss thing or mafia or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's probably why everybody else likes it, but I don't. I might just not like that genre.
I'm like lukewarm on the genre, but I kind of liked the whole twist on it because they were doing like she's playing both sides. Like, yeah, she's the mob boss, but she's also secretly working with other people, and she's like keeping the mob, like her mob from like her crime family from being more violent, and like she's taking over and doing things like, oops, your drug shipment fell off a cliff, like, so you don't get it now. My
Or
bad. I
or
completely messed that up by accident.
the last issue, like Karen, if you're reading this issue and they're talking about one family coming back, it was because as Catwoman, she snuck into this building and switched some money out so that they would get caught by the cops and they'd be forced to come back to her. And I thought that part was funny. I was
Yeah.
like, ah ha ha ha, she used her Catwoman abilities to mess you all over. But
And then they've introduced the new Catwoman. So now there's two Catwomen.
Right. Who is that?
Her name is Eiko Hasegawa, and she is the daughter of one of the other crime families, and also Catwoman's possibly kind of girlfriend.
yeah.
So that
She and
makes
Selena
sense.
have happy makeout time, but she was like, like Catwoman kind of went off the grid because, obviously Selena is being the head of the Calabrese family, and so Eiko decided to take on the identity.
hmm Which I kind of like how Catwoman is spoiling her family's crime plans, and then this new Catwoman is doing that too, and then here comes spoiler, and she's kind of in their little family now.
Well, I mean, I've kind of almost been waiting for this ever since during Batman Eternal when they first met
Which I
up.
still haven't read.
See, that sets up, I think, a lot of what works about the crime boss thing because it seems very sudden otherwise. Because like Batman Eternal takes its time going through how reluctant she is to take on this position because she's like, I'm out for me. I'm a solo act. I don't like working with a team. I like stealing stuff. It's fun.
But it's not even a team. It's like, I don't know, just such like organized crime and I don't know.
It's
and
literal family drama.
Yeah, and it's a family that she did not grow up with because like they established that like we meet who her father is, but she, very much raised herself, and so it's like she's the Johnny come lately to the family. So there's this like added like you don't like they think she doesn't belong there, she doesn't want to be there, but she's trying to like work a lesser of two evils angle. Like I don't know, it's very interesting, I think, but more than a lot of the other books that had roots in Batman Eternal, I think this one relied more on having read Batman Eternal.
I mean, I think I still was able to follow it, but maybe I didn't fully, obviously, I don't fully grasp how this came about because I didn't read Batman Eternal. So it'll be interesting to see if I like it a little more after I read it because I have every single issue of Batman Eternal. I just need to hunker down and read them.
For those who are Penguin fans, he is all over this arc. By the way,
is it me or did they do redesigns on both his look and on Selena's Catwoman outfit?
That's the way it looked to me.
Like the boots are different.
Yeah.
And
then
it's the belt.
And then you like have to keep track of the different because both the Catwomen have different Catwoman looks too.
Yes.
So then you have to like keep track of both the different Catwomen as well.
I like Eiko's floppy ears.
Yes.
It's really cute.
The action. What do you think about the action, Karen?
What action?
Well, they have like a 2-page fight. Doesn't last long, but
yeah, it was pretty good. I really like Stephanie's spoiler outfit.
It's such a best of both worlds of the old school spoiler outfit and the Batgirl outfit.
Exactly. Like, I love it so much. And, I mean, I did think it was cool how her face was completely black before. But I do like this, face mask with her hair being shown.
I feel like there could be a better solution than the face mask because it makes her look a little bit like the Winter Soldier, but
But I mean, I feel like not many superheroes do that. It's always like, I'm going to cover my eyes and no one knows who I am. But I don't really know how she could breathe very well with that on. You know? But this is the belt that you were talking about?
Yeah, with like the cat thing.
I think there's a better, like here. Well, this is good because she's able to actually carry stuff.
Yeah. It used to just be she'd run around with like her whip wrapped around her middle, and then she would like materialize something, and you'd be like, "You're in a skin-tight outfit. Where was that?"
Mm-hmm.
The answer was probably in her boobs because she's always had giant boobs and she's always like very unzipped. So it's like, oh, it's storage pocket.
Right. I mean,
It's like when you stick your phone in your bra when you go out at night. Like, it's whatever.
she sticks a grapple gun.
Yeah. She's got the real estate.
Does.
I'm
yeah,
excited
so,
about spoiler Catwoman internship.
yes. Yes. And I never thought about it in the way that they're all spoiling their own families' crimes. You know, like it's 3 people who all do that. So it makes even more sense why Stephanie Brown would be kind of an apprentice with them.
Well, and all 3 of them come from places where, like, women aren't necessarily supposed to be in charge. Like Stephanie's father was definitely constantly like, "You stupid little like," and I guess this is Batman Eternal stuff. He's always like, "You stupid little girl. Like, there's no way you can take me out." Spoilers. She totally wins. And then Eiko's father is a very traditional Japanese businessman, so he's like, women have no place being in charge of things, like. And so she's like actively bucking that. And then I don't know, to me Selena's always been the girl who like refuses to acknowledge that. You know.
Definitely.
Like Catwoman don't have time for your misogynistic bullshit.
Here are the floppy ears. I do really like that. So yeah, I'll be continuing to read Catwoman, which I never thought I would be doing. So it's kind of exciting.
That's me like an arc ago. Like, I had the same distaste. Are you gonna get a Kevin Wada spoiler commission based on that cover?
Yeah, probably. Is he gonna be at Baltimore?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. But yeah,
I
it
mean,
needs to happen.
maybe he'll add it, but he's never been before.
Yeah,
He opens up his commission list generally sometimes, though. So, like, yeah. I'll check his Tumblr.
Let me.
So, speaking of cons, there's a con going on this weekend. Just a little one.
Oh, I heard something about that.
Yeah, and so some DC has made some announcements, including a Robin War announcement. And normally we'd probably just be like, whatever. But this Robin War announcement is going to and it's not all the Robins versus each other of the past. It's actually Damian Wayne versus the kids from like We Are Robin. But it's going to encompass Gotham Academy. And when you look at the dates and the spanning of this crossover event and everything else, it pretty much guarantees the existence of Gotham Academy probably through, issue 18.
Yay! Oh, and let me point out my poster that I got for free yesterday at Barnes & Noble.
Fab.
And I'm going to go back tomorrow, so hopefully I can get you guys one too. I would have done it, but I was drunk at Barnes & Noble because I went to dinner and happy hour, and it was a long week. So I was just like in Barnes & Noble, and I was like, this is free, cool. And if I would have been sober, I would have been like, I need to get one for Allison and Jessica too. Apparently drunk Karen is not the most thoughtful when she's in a bookstore.
I don't know. That one time you sent me a postcard from the bar.
I did.
It was very thoughtful.
You're welcome. I knew you would appreciate it, you and Scott. It's like, who can I send this postcard to? Oh, but yeah. Yay for Gotham Academy being kind of guaranteed for a lot more
It's
issues.
also crossing into the Batman and Robin Eternal book that they announced, right?
That part I don't know about.
I thought it was crossing between like the three of them.
It might be.
Batman
So
and
what
Robin
Once
Eternal
I
is happening.
Yeah, what
Yes,
is that?
Batman and Robin
Eternal?
It's a new weekly, so it's like a sequel to Batman Eternal. James Tynion is going to be on it, and Cassandra Cain. Cassandra Cain is back. Cassandra Cain is the focus of the story. I got Cassandra Cain back.
Yay! We have Spoiler and Cass Cain. How long did that take? Only like 4 years.
Only 4 years.
Only
Well,
4.
people have been crying for Cass Cain to be back in a main role for longer than that because they kind of sidelined her before the New 52 started. Like, they sort of like took her out of the central action.
God, I loved when Stephanie Brown took over as Batgirl, and there are those few issues where Cass Cain and Steph Brown are fighting together.
Because she's Black Bat.
I love it. I love it so much.
Quick note, can we recognize the fact that James is very slowly starting to take over the comic universe?
He is.
I'm totally okay with it.
I am too.
Yes.
He and Ming Doyle are doing great things on the Constantine book. Like, he's, I mean, it's not DC, but like the work he does on the Woods is fantastic. Like, I think he's got a gift for like the younger generation heroes, like the sidekick generation heroes. Like,
well, I mean, he's got several creators. He's got like UFOlogy. He did Mimic. He he's got the Woods. He didn't announce another one this past week, did he?
I haven't been able to keep track. There have been so many announcements every day.
And then he's got the Eternal book, and then he's working with me on Constantine, and he's doing Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover. Yeah, there's that.
I'm not sure I would have thought of that, but
here's my
deal. An audience.
Oh, there's definitely an audience. There's no doubt there's an audience.
Is it you?
So I just looked on his Twitter.
Not necessarily. But with James writing it, I'll probably take more interest in it than I originally intended to. So
on his Twitter, he says, Batman and Robin Eternal, Batman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Constantine the Hellblazer, Cognetic in the Woods. What's Cognetic?
I don't know. Is that a sequel to Mimetic? Well, Mimetic can't really have a sequel. Let
me see. Let me look if he has like an additional. Yeah, okay, so James Tynion brought back Stephanie Brown and Cass Cain.
Yup. So they're teaming up.
Wow. Oh my God, that's going to be so good.
And Harper Row is going to be in it?
Yes, Harper Row is going to be in it.
Dick Grayson is going to be at the heart of the story.
That actually makes me a little sad because I would rather it be Tim Drake because he writes Tim so well, but I mean, Dick's okay too. Does that mean that the Grayson book is ending?
I don't think so.
I hope not. I like that book a lot.
Yeah, I don't know.
The most recent issue where he just straight up decided to be like James Bond / Archer.
I am behind on that book, but I actually just downloaded them because, every book that I've read this week, I've read on my phone, which means I've been good about doing more digital. And I have the 6 Plus, so I mean, it's huge. It's either my 6 Plus or my iPad mini, and there's like that much of a size difference. So it's just not even worth it. Like, I don't even know where my mini is. I haven't used it in so long. But hopefully they come out with a really big iPad in December, which I don't know, word on the street is that they might be doing that. Side note. But yeah, I just downloaded all of the Grayson books, and I think I'm going to read them today, maybe, hopefully. Because Dick Grayson is I love him. He's my favorite Batman, which is so like everybody's like, ooh, but like he is. I really like that.
He is the best Batman.
He is, and I love him with Damian, like a really happy Batman and a really grumpy Robin. It's just, oh, God, I want to read
Have you
those
noticed
trades
that,
now.
like, Scott Snyder is now writing his second Batman who is not Bruce Wayne? Like, Scott Snyder started writing Batman when Batman was Dick Grayson, and then, you know, they brought Bruce back or whatever. But now, yet again, they've gotten rid of Bruce, and now he's writing Jim as Batman.
Oh, I've been out of the loop. So Jim Gordon?
Jim Gordon is the guy in the robot bunny ears.
Okay.
We had Jess on that week that we talked about that. So that's
yeah. Spoilers for a few months ago. They've killed Batman again. Bruce Wayne is dead again.
I knew that they killed him again. I didn't know that Jim Gordon was now being Batman.
Jim Gordon now has a mohawk and he shaved off his mustache and
all the hair is gone.
It's deeply upsetting.
Interesting. So wait, how did that come about? How did he make that decision? Or should I just like read the books like a normal being?
It was a Gotham PD decision. It's a Batman, and that's kind of the central story being explored, or that's the ethical dilemma, I guess, being explored, is a Batman run by the Gotham PD.
Yeah, like it's run by the government forces, and like are the people within the power structure responsible enough to exercise power? So now they've set up.
It's always a central. It's always been, except for like Adam West, Batman 66. You've never had a Batman who completely and totally worked within the system, and so this kind of digs into the central story of, well, what if Batman was part of the system? Would it be better? Would it be worse? Would it?
They're able to answer the questions of resources by being like, okay, well, we don't have Bruce Wayne's bottomless pit of personal wealth, but we have, like, now we're going to set up a net, like a formal net, like the blimps all have the bat symbol on them now. Like, we're setting up a formal police network and, like, putting all this other stuff into it, which honestly is a little bit like a reverse take on what they were doing with the concept of Batman Inc. when they first launched that. The idea of that was it's time to legitimize Batman and take him global, and so obviously Bruce Wayne conveniently was the financial backer, but they went public with it, and it was sort of a cheeky way to legitimize Batman while still keeping him separate from the system. And this, I think, takes that a step further.
Interesting. It would be interesting if Greg Rucka were involved in plotting, just because I think about,
there would be a lot of debates about police state and the, corruption of power and I mean, and that's actually, which I found really interesting, which, that's something that, like, Catwoman doesn't dig into, but it, like, barely grazes on the surface just through dialogue, talking about, if they basically, since Batman is now run by the Gotham PD and there are crooked cops, can they get Batman in their pocket?
Yeah.
Which I thought was really fascinating.
And how can Batman deal with that? How can a legit, like, cop Batman deal with, failings within the system that he's a part of? Like, I think it's really fun to watch them explore the advantages and disadvantages of, like, a formalized thing and then, like, the vigilante thing, because obviously, like, the vigilante thing tends to get romanticized, and there's been, I think, a move in recent Batman arcs to explore the darker aspects of that, but now it's sort of like the flip side of, like, oh, well, like, I'm assuming what the thesis is going to end up being of this arc is that there's a reason Batman has always been a vigilante and worked outside the system.
Oh, definitely. What issue did the new arc start?
41.
Okay.
So, and 42 just came out this week. So.
Okay. Because I've been buying Batman, like, every issue of it. I'm
trade waiting on this arc.
You're what?
I'm trade waiting on this arc.
Okay. I can see that. I think
the last few arcs were emotionally heavy, so I needed a timeout.
Okay. Most books read better in trade. I'm such a trade person.
Well,
And I
they're
think
being
that's
written for trade too at this point.
why.
I mean,
Yeah.
As long as books don't get canceled, because the whole reason why I buy individual issues is because I want to support the books and
Yeah.
say,
well, I mean, there's some books. It's like I went to go visit my old comic book shop, and the owner there, he's really smart, and he talks about, and I know several people have said this, but I mean, there's some books they're not going to get canceled. You don't have
right,
to
like
worry.
Batman.
Like if you trade, like Batman, there's no danger in trade waiting on Batman. You
Right.
get something like Gotham Academy, though, there's a danger to trade waiting. You get something like Angela Asgard's Assassin. There's a danger in trade waiting. Books that do not have a traditional support system or a large, broad-based fan base, those are the books that you need to be buying in individual issues to send messages with. Everything else, I mean, like the Batmans, the Supermans, the Spider-Mans, the Avengers.
Whatever X-Men book.
Yes, and soon to be all the Inhuman books. But, I mean, there's some books that are safe to trade weight.
Yeah.
Spend your individual issue money on the
smaller stuff.
The smaller stuff and the indies.
Mm-hmm.
Though,
and do
ironically,
digital issues even go into the sales?
I think they do, but no one's ever like straightforward answered the question how they calculate like sales figures in terms of trade, because I don't know if Comicosity publicizes those numbers. Like, I think the publishers probably get those numbers, but like, because obviously they're able to track it because they were able to say definitively like, oh, like Kamala Khan was the highest selling digital book that Marvel had.
Right.
Like, for a time.
Yeah, when you have a book on there, I mean, yes, you get those numbers back of what those books sell on Comixology if you're if you're the company that's put that book on there. But no, it's not public figures, and the only reason why we have numbers on print sales is specifically because there's a monopoly because of Diamond distribution.
Because of Diamond, yeah.
Diamond is the only reason why we technically even have those numbers now. It's not like they're public for the sake of being public.
This business model is ridiculous and should not be sustainable.
No, it should not.
Probably isn't.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Did we all read Saga?
How was it? You guys can talk about it though.
There was a moment that was very like super real.
I guess my whole thing with Saga is like I'm no longer surprised that I'm surprised while reading this book. It's just like you just got to go into it knowing, yep, I'm going to be on a roller coaster. So it's.
I wonder how that. Like, I need to binge read this. Scott went and bought the giant hardcover, and I want to like binge read that whole volume and see how this story reads, because this is the first Brian K. Vaughan story I've ever read in single issue.
It reads well in single issue. As someone who loves trades, I mean, I think Saga it reads really well monthly.
There's no graduating from this kind of education. Couples just keep growing and changing until they either break up or die. Too real.
Oh, it's depressing.
I don't know. It's kind of, there's a sweetness to it. It depends on your point of view, I guess.
Maybe.
I think it's more depressing than sweet.
I think I've been in a grumpy mood all week, so.
You have been. You want to talk about why?
Okay. So for those who are not aware, I'm not a fan of the grumpy cat meme. I used to be indifferent to it. I never found it particularly hilarious or anything, but I just, for the most part, had indifference to it. And then it started being thrown in my face all the time, especially when I was in a bad mood, and was used to tease me a lot when I was in a bad mood. And so Grumpy Cat and I do not get along. Grumpy Cat is getting a comic book.
Not only is he getting a comic book, he's now invading your DC covers.
He's also one of the monster covers for Sinestro. And Allison is just tickled pink by this.
I'm in hate love with the cover itself because it's awful and magnificent.
It's like bad motel art.
Carl Kerschel drew it, from whom
Yes.
we love on Gotham Academy, and
we love
Tumblr.
Carl, by the way. We love Carl.
Yeah. He posted on Tumblr his specific reasoning, and it was like, first off, I cannot believe I pitched this to DC and they said yes. Second of all, like, what is more horrible than this cat?
And he is right. This cat is horrible.
This cat is monstrous, so I made him my monster cover. It's a grumpy cat with a Sinestro mustache.
And and then like in a Sinestro coloring too. With a ring.
Why can't I find it? I'm trying to.
If you go on to Carl's Twitter, it should be one of his recent photos, unless someone went on a photo binge.
Okay, that's pretty funny. Here, let me.
Oh, and then in the midst of all this, like in me, like being like, oh my gosh, it's like I can't get a diverse superhero book by diverse creators, but I can get a Grumpy Cat comic. Then Grumpy Cat decided to follow me on Twitter. It was not great.
Here it is.
Oh, Lord. That thing is so
It's on the wrong hand, though.
That's exactly what Scott said the first time he saw it. He got so mad.
I wonder if they can change that before it comes out.
If they can, like, flip the image or something.
Yeah.
Like, just mirror it.
Mm-hmm. Because that is kind of a big thing.
See, when people find out that you don't like something, they torture you with it. This is what happened with me and Garfield years ago. Like, I'm still getting tormented with Garfield stuff by, like, friends from high school and college. Like, it's never going to go away. In your case, at least, maybe the meme will die.
Mm-hmm. One day. I would have thought it would have died already. I mean...
Well, it's like the person who... Like, somebody licensed it. Like, it's a licensed property now.
And aren't they making a movie, or didn't they make a movie? Aubrey Plaza from Parks and Rec was the voice of Grumpy Cat.
There's all sorts of Grumpy Cat things everywhere, and it's just horrific. It's awful. You can't walk through a mall.
It's not worse than Minions, though. Minions are the worst.
Well, no, but that's like a children's cartoon. I can't.
Yeah, but they're still freaking everywhere.
Yes. Oh yeah. They just released a movie this week. They're trying to get people to go to the theater.
Oh, Jessica.
Your trials and tribulations.
My first world problems.
I'm trying to think of other SDC stuff that's been announced this week. Oh yeah, a lot of new Superman books, though I'm not crazy about one of them.
Which one?
Yeah.
It's the one that Max Landis is doing.
Max
He's
Landis,
horrible.
thank you.
He's a horrible, horrible human.
Let me see which one that is. I will screen share this too.
But it's being called the opposite of All-Star Superman, and it's like
I'm like, why would you do that?
Why not just call it Lex Luthor?
Wait, no, that's the one. Oh.
Max Landis is problematic.
Is he? But the life of Clark Kent.
But it's not, though. Like,
no. You know how I love origin stories, and I know
this is not.
No, it's gonna be something else.
Damn.
You need to look at the art that's already been released.
Well, it says Ryan Sook will provide the cover art with artists Jock, Nick Dragata, Tommy Lee Edwards, Joelle Jones, Jay Lee, Francis Manipool, and Jonathan Case. Like, I'm good with that for the interior art.
How does that work exactly, though? Are they each going to draw a page?
They're each
Like,
gonna draw.
No, it's like an anthology, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna be released all at once. It's a 7-part collection of stories. So, one artist, 2, 3,
he's
4, 5,
just
6,
horrible.
7.
So,
Ooh, that makes me so sad.
yeah.
Bummer.
Well,
I was
Vertigo
so excited for that.
relaunched, has basically like gotten its groove back. They announced like, what was it,
12.
like a dozen new books,
Yeah.
and the teams look really good. There's some good diversity there, though the stories look all alarmingly a little bit like they all seem to be falling into some kind of like supernatural horror vein, and I guess in some way that's kind of Vertigo's thing, but I'm kind of like, tell stories other than horror stories for 5 minutes. Because I love horror stories, but I don't love all horror stories.
Yeah.
It's like I love Batman, but I can't read all Batman.
Mhm. Oh, did you guys read the new Archie book?
Yeah.
I didn't. I don't read
I started
Archie.
it. Well, I don't either. I've never read an Archie
It's-
book before.
Watch an episode of Saved by the Bell and you're good.
Oh, well, I have liked it so far. I think it's because I never really, since I've never read Archie before, I didn't get the whole like Betty and Veronica thing, so I'm like learning about that whole story.
Well,
I mean, the look of
they
it. I mean, Fiona Staples' designs look great.
It's written by Mark Waid and art by Fiona Staples. So
yeah, how they're doing the Betty Veronica thing in this new book is completely different than how it was originally approached.
How was it originally approached?
It was, well, first of all, Betty was originally both Betty and Veronica, like in the original Archie before it was even like Archie. And then basically as it progressed, it got split into two characters.
Why
and so,
was
like, in the
he
very,
both
there was
Betty and Veronica? I don't get it.
Well, no, because it was just it was just that there was one girl named Betty who moves in, and who moves in, and he's trying to impress her or whatever.
Okay.
And so, and then once it becomes like Archie comics, then it just splits into two characters, and there's just these two girls there.
And then don't they establish two continuities, one where he ends up with Veronica and one where he ends up with Betty?
In life with Archie, yes, but then it all ends with a single issue. The whole series ends on a single issue where he could have married to either one of them and it would have still ended the same way. And it's so...
And then zombies happen somehow.
Well, that's a different series. These are all separate series. There's the Archie series, there's the Life with Archie series. The Life with Archie is where he marries. Then there's the Afterlife with Archie series, which is like their supernatural zombie thing. Then there's Sabrina the Teenage Witch, or not Teenage Witch, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which is like their horror genre label, but on a Sabrina book, and it doesn't necessarily fall into the continuity of Afterlife with Archie.
Mm-hmm. So in this Archie book, he and Betty have been together since they were in like kindergarten, and now they're in high school, and they break up,
and nobody knows why.
Nobody knows why, and this new girl moves in. I didn't actually finish the issue, so they're like talking about the new girl who's going to move in, and that's going to be Veronica.
Yeah, well, she hasn't moved in yet. Even by the end of the issue, she's still not there. There's just hints that it's coming.
Okay. I mean, I like it.
It felt very, like, it didn't feel like a modern school, and maybe that's because I just have too much experience with a modern school today, but it's like, it didn't feel like modern school kids today. It felt very 90s. It felt very...
It does. I kind of like that, though.
90s nostalgia is in.
No, and that's the point. They're not writing it.
Was it even supposed to be modern?
And that's the thing. I don't know if it was. That's the thing. It's very clear they're not writing this for a younger generation unless they're saying we are the younger generation.
Technically, if you look at like the comics buying audience and the traditional view of it, they probably do count that. Like people in their 30s are now like the young new readers of comics.
So, I mean, it's for people who are looking for that, for Saved by the Bell fans, for the I can't remember the name of any of the other shows because I didn't really watch them, but yeah.
I never liked watching shows about high school because high school I was like, yeah, high school's alright, I guess.
I always liked high school as it's portrayed in TV and movies because it's not at all how high school
what it's really like.
Is. Yeah. And it's sort of like Orange is the New Black. Like, no, that's not how prison is. Like, people don't have that long to talk and plan and, you know, do all the stuff that they're doing. But I still like watching it.
I've never understood the glorification of high school or people who like wanted to return to their high school days. It's just like,
I think it's just such like, I don't know, a pivotal time in someone's life, like those 4 years where you are going through so many hormonal changes and I don't know, I just think it's a different experience than you ever get throughout the rest of your life, or those 4 years. And yeah, they suck for most people, and I won't pretend that my high school experience was hell because it wasn't, but it's just one of those times where we'll never have to go through any experience like that ever again. And so it's so unique, I think. I don't get why people glorify it, but I do get why it's the topic of so many books and TV shows and movies. I mean, look at Mean Girls. It's a great movie.
But that one actually shows a bit of high school a little bit more real. Like, for all of like the high-end satirization, like the fact that you instantly like tribe up. Anyway.
It was another movie I didn't get. I was like, I don't understand this. So.
At my high school, we actually did have like an intervention with the girls in the class because clickness, like the clicky stuff got too bad and some girl beat up another girl, and there was like, so when they had like that scene in the auditorium where they're all being lectured, I was like, oh Jesus.
This got real.
I don't know. Maybe my high school was just too big. It was like most people didn't have time to mess with other people. It was like,
well, my graduating class was 900 people.
Yeah, mine was about the same. It wasn't all of the girls in the school. It was all of the girls in one particular class.
Interesting.
So there's one more book that I just wanted to let people know happened, and I don't know if you guys are into this, but
I used to love Invader Zim.
Invader Zim is a really big deal in this household. It's one of my husband's absolute favorite shows. I used to, with my high school boyfriend, we'd duck out of school at the end of the day and go to his house and watch it, because it was really just a marvel that Nickelodeon allowed this to be on television for children. And I always forget this in my comics origin story. The first like trade I ever read was Batman Hush, but the second one I ever read was from the same boyfriend. He gave me Johnny the Homicidal Maniac by Jonan Vasquez. And that was like, I still have it somewhere. It's falling apart, but like Jonan is great at comics. And he's actually got some of the team from the show working on this book with him. Like Ricky Simons, who's the voice of Gurr, actually does the color flats for this book. And so yeah, this is basically like picks up from the end of the show, and it functions as an episode of the returning of Invader Zim, and you can hear the characters' voices, and it's like the dialogue is amazing. Gurr is wonderful. I launched that poodle into space. It's really, really funny. So thank you, Oni Press, for putting this out. Please pay them all more. The pencils are done by Aaron Alexevich, who I am not familiar with, but yay.
Did you see, only because you said Oni, did you see the stats they released at SDC for their
I
open
didn't.
submissions? Like 2,400, like over 2,400 submissions, and like they did the math of like if somebody took like a 40-hour work week and did nothing but like review all these open submissions, it would take was it 4 months?
Oh my god.
To review, like if they gave each submission at least 8 minutes of review. And so anyway, and then they somehow, not in that amount of time, they like threw out that they got it down to like 400, and then they got it down to like 200 something, and then they ended up taking 8 total submissions to pitch meetings. Out of those 8, only 2 survived that they actually presented to the publisher for potential publishing.
Wow.
That's intense.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So.
Oh, did you guys read the Mad Max book?
No.
No, I dropped it after the Furiosa issue.
It was so good.
Because it was the same writer. And I also don't care about, I didn't want more information about Max. I've seen all the movies.
I liked it.
I wanted them to do
I didn't read the Furiosa one. Why is that not?
Because it's full of rape and horribleness.
Oh, it's not on Comicosity. And I've been reading it digitally, and I was like, I thought the next book was going to be a Furiosa one.
The writer got in the face of people who were criticizing it and was like, well, we need to show the abuse and the rape of the wives because otherwise they just seem like spoiled children.
No.
Because having your freedom taken away and being held captive by a man and impregnated by him, even through impliedness, wasn't enough. No, now you're spoiled.
The amazing part of the movie is that it's a movie about sexual slavery and sexual violence that does not have to show it because you don't have to show it for us to get it.
Right, that was one of the huge things about that movie.
Yeah.
Also, they decide to give Furiosa a rape backstory where she was raped, and so she's angry, and they have Furiosa being really mean to the wives, and it just basically it goes the completely opposite direction of what the movie did. And so, even before it came out, I started seeing retailers be like, this is a problem. And so I was, scared going into it, and it was a problem.
Okay, no, it is on Comixology. I just didn't read it. Oh, I even bought it, but I didn't read it. Well, I guess I'm not even going to read it then. I'm mad that I wasted $5 on it.
About it. Someone, what was it, Laura Hudson wrote a really good article about it on Wired. When it came out.
Well, crap.
Yeah, they kind of hecked that one up.
Well, I'm glad you guys warned me and that I didn't have to suffer through it, because I'm not going to read it. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, also, way to miss the point of, the most popular character of the movie.
It's like people who read Bitch Planet by Kelly Sue, and they're like, I really like it, except for, the feminist part.
Except for all the feminists.
And she's like, what other parts are there? That's the whole book, so it's just... Clearly, that's what happened in this case,
Basically, they like the naked women part.
Yeah, I guess. What the hell? That makes me mad.
It's like the summer of creators just not getting it. It feels like
people ain't staying in their lane.
Oh my gosh, it's like, I mean,
but there's good stuff that makes us happy.
Yes, we're about to go down Depression Road, and we need to stop that now.
Yeah.
We do.
We could talk about Gotham Academy again.
We can talk about Gotham Academy again.
Allison, please tell your husband that he needs to read this.
Okay.
Because I need someone to talk to about this. Because this
Okay.
is amazing. It's so good.
He picked up the comics this week, so I'm shocked. He even said, he's like, I thought about picking it up, and then I didn't. And I was like, why? Like,
Tell him it's good. He needs to pick it up. It's like, I mean, it just hits all the right.
I think he's downstairs watching the stream right now, so you just told him.
Buy this so we can talk. Okay, good. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
There was some announcement out of Dark Horse that had me excited. I can't remember what it was anymore. There's been so many announcements, like Justice League United is going to be on Blu-ray, and DC's releasing a Ra's al Ghul animated series figure.
I just want this panel right here from Shudder this week. I love this thing. That's all. That's it. Okay. If you haven't been reading Shudder, it's so good. I got the last copy at the store.
When is Layla Del Duca's Wick Div issue?
It's coming up, like next month. Is it next month?
Tula Lote is the next issue. So
okay.
The one after that?
Maybe.
Or maybe Brandon Graham's the one after that. But I'm really looking forward to Layla drawing The Wicked and the Divine, and I'm curious as to which character focus she'll get to do.
I'm just curious about other artists being on Wicked and Divine in general.
It's
like
very
how that's
it
going.
was really jarring, this most recent issue, but cute. I don't know. It was weird. I don't know. It's I guess I didn't realize how much I've come to identify McKelvey's work with the look of that book, and not just his work, but also his work with Matt's colors. So it's very strange. It's an adjustment, and it's not like the artists that are filling it are bad artists. They're not. It's just this is.
It's like if someone else were to do the art for Saga.
Yeah.
It would be like, who's that character?
So, picks for next week, since we kind of spent the whole episode talking about generally what we enjoyed this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We have to go to upcoming releases.
Yeah.
Releases now, because we're recording on Saturday for those of you who are watching this later. If we missed some super big announcement from San Diego, that's why. Because it probably
because
they just announced a Killing Joke animated movie, which is completely unnecessary. I know, right? Siege, Marvel's Siege book, which is it's by Kieran Gillen, and let me see who's drawing it, and he's basically so this is sad next wave. Felipe Andrade is drawing it.
Sad next wave.
He was Next Wave was a celebration of joy in the Marvel universe. Imagine Next Wave as a tragedy. So it's gonna have America Chavez, Lady Kate Bishop, King the Conqueror, Leonardo da Vinci, and Abigail Brand. There's just a lot going on. I'm not actually even reading the central
it's so
Secret
good.
Wars
Secret
book.
Wars is so good.
I feel like I don't have the grounding and continuity to deal with it, but I did read some of Siege. But also, if you give me Kieran Gillen and Felipe Andrade, who was my favorite Captain Marvel artist, writing Next Wave as a tragedy, I'm gonna read it. So I'm really, really, really excited. Yeah, that's easily my pick above all other things.
There's Black Canary #2, Dr. Fate #2.
I like that Dr. Fate book.
Let me see here. What else?
Rachel
Island. Rachel Rising. Island #1.
Right, which I was just looking at that. So it has okay, so each issue holds 3 issue-length chapters of new work from various creators around the globe, printed oversized with no ads.
Yes. It's an
It's an
extremely
$8 book
Yeah, it's an extremely ambitious anthology.
by Brandon Graham.
Yeah.
And Maria.
And Maria's there.
It's I'm really kind of excited to read it. It's just it'll be nice to have something different.
Yeah, I'll probably give it a try.
Let me see here. What else we got?
The list they have isn't complete.
Right.
Right.
Let's see.
Silver Surfer 13, just because I'm this far into it, I might as well just finish it off.
I like Silver Surfer.
I don't not like it, but I think Secret Wars ending it kind of spoiled it for me.
Yeah.
It's not, I feel like it's not ending on its own terms. It's ending because it has to.
Yeah, I get that.
And maybe I'll feel different. Maybe I'll feel different after I read number 13. I don't know.
Hawkeye 22.
I was waiting for that.
I'm not going to believe it's coming out until I'm holding it in my hands. We obviously love Matt Fraction. He is wonderful. David Aja is amazingly talented. So is Matt Hollingsworth. I feel like the mystery surrounding the delay of this final issue is going to be like the Kennedy assassination. Like, people will die and we'll never know the answer.
My whole deal is I just don't think, I'm just waiting for this slew of, oh, this was so disappointing. Just because people waited so long, it's how is this ever going to live up to anyone's expectations at this point?
It's not like it was delayed because they were changing the story either.
No.
The script was the first thing that was done, and it's just stayed the same, and it's going to probably be very fitting with the rest of the story.
And the art was done 6 weeks ago or something?
Longer than that. Way longer than that. No one knows. Well, someone knows, but the public does not know what the production issues with this were. So, it was so bad that they launched a new Hawkeye series before the old one was done.
There's some people. We have hey, to our readers out there who are doing this, more power to you. We have or viewers. We have some readers out there who, I kid you not, have refused to start the new Hawkeye series until they read this issue. And so they're just excited it's coming out because it means they'll get to read all those other issues. Oh, and then it's going to have a new #1 here in a short while.
I know, right? Comics, everybody.
Oh, it's great.
Okay. Well, anything else that you're looking forward to, Karen? I know you've got to bounce out.
I do. I don't think so. I think those are my main ones. And I'm going to do a Rachel Rising reread. So,
yay.
We'll start that today, maybe? I've already said I'm reading Grayson today.
I was about to say,
Wait, Karen, you're a fan of Rachel Rising, or do you just have the shirt?
Goodness.
Okay,
yeah.
Can we please...
we didn't tell that story.
Yes, because we didn't tell the story last week.
A minute, but I will say, yeah, we were in the Kelly Stew line at Heroes Con, and I was wearing my Rachel Rising shirt, and this guy behind us was like, so, what is Rachel Rising about? Is it good? Sorry, do you even read the book, or did you just dig the shirt?
I'm making a big assumption here that you're reading the book.
Yeah, I'm making a big assumption here that you were reading the book, and I was just like, yeah, no, it was just,
She got fake geek girled in the Kelly Sue DeConnick line, and I was live tweeting the entire exchange.
Oh my god, Allison's bitch face came on so strong.
It's seriously a miracle that one or both of you did not go off on him about how you own 3 original pages from the actual comic and everything else.
You don't have to when you get fake geek girl, never be like, well, excuse me, actually, like, no, because you shouldn't get nerd checked in the first place.
Exactly.
This is true.
Yes.
Don't
It's
answer
just
the nerd check.
especially, yeah, I agree with you, Jessica. It's especially annoying just because I am such a big Rachel Rising fan, and I do own 3 pages of original art, and like for any book to be questioned on, like Rachel Rising, really? Really? So I get your point there, but I didn't want to stoop to that level to be like, actually, I am a fan. Here, let me show you my credentials. You know, it's like, no, I don't need to do this because this stupid person is like,
if we had told, I think if we had mentioned it
know.
to Kelly Sue, she probably would have.
and I didn't want to do that because I
Yeah.
didn't want his experience meeting Kelly Sue to be, you know, a bad one because he's clearly a fan. I'm just really nice, basically, is the moral.
He was very awkward in trying to make conversation, and it's
So-
possible it was not coming from a place of maliciousness.
Yes, yes. So yeah, we took the high road in that situation, but out of all the books.
I was just like, he's really fake geek girling her over Rachel Rising. Oh my god, this isn't real. And that's, by the way, like, I've never seen that happen at a con like Heroes. I actually don't see that happen a lot, like, in person. Like,
Especially in a Kelly Sue line.
yeah, that seems like the place where that
That's
kind
a
of thing
safe
should be the
space.
least likely to happen.
Right.
You handled it very well. You were much nicer than me. Yeah. My reaction spoke for itself, apparently.
I loved your reaction.
All right. Well, ladies, it's been wonderful talking to you. And
Yes.
for everyone else, you will be finding us back on our original new time, which is Sunday nights. Here in this next, obviously not tomorrow, but the next week. Until then, you can find the latest news, reviews, previews, and interviews on Comicosity.com. You can listen to the We Talk Comics podcast on Comicosity.com. You can also check out the Inner Circle Pod, the Inner Circle Comics podcasting group, where you can find a podcast for every day of the week. You can check us out on Twitter at The Comic Hangout. Until then, ladies,